The first year of any video game console is pretty intriguing. Today we discuss the Switch 2's first year and what that might look like. Folks, welcome to the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast with your host, Nintendo YouTuber EmSwizzle. A lot to discuss today. We begin with some Nintendo news, a lot to discuss there. Then we dive into our predictions for the Switch 2's first year, what games will come out, what accessories, what's going to happen that year. And then we end the show with a Q&A segment. And our guest today is none other than Thomas from Switch Stop. Switch Stop is a YouTube channel that makes videos all around the Nintendo Switch, and it's a group channel. So Thomas is one member, Mac is another member who has been on this show previously, and then PJ is the third member who will perhaps be on this show in the future. But today is Thomas's episode. They all three run a podcast as well called the Nintendo Tonight Podcast. With all that said, Thomas joins us today. Let's not delay this conversation. It was a fantastic one. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the #1 Nintendo podcast.
Thomas, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Oh, doing well. Thank you for having me.
Heck yeah, dude. I've been waiting. I've been wanting to get you on. I told you off the podcast, I'm like collecting the Switch Stop Infinity Stones here. We're 2 out of 3 after today. Lots of Nintendo Switch news to discuss, and I'll go ahead and we'll dive into our first little... this has to be the world's greatest first piece of news in the history of the show. I'll read this, then I'll grab your thoughts here. Our first piece of news is a credible Nintendo Switch 2 sketch has made its way online. So what this is a user on Fammy Boards, which is like a big old forum called NinSpider, uploaded a sketch that I'm not sure if it was done by him or a 4-year-old of what seems to be the Nintendo Switch 2 concept. And what is in the sketch is a dock, which looks strange. We'll talk about it. And basically what looks like the Switch that we have now, but there's a U-shaped kickstand. I'll put a picture on screen, of course. And why are we talking about this random sketch? Well, a credible leaker in the space, Nate the Hate, who is also on the Game & Talk podcast, backs it up. And kind of, not fully, but he says, all I can say is that the dock sketch is similar in design/shape to one I was sent several weeks ago, meaning a drawing of the alleged dock. But I've been working to verify it. Whether this design has circulated Chinese forums or not, I don't know. But the general design matches what I was sent in September. Again, haven't verified the design with any contact/source at this time. So we see the sketch, Thomas. This is great. We get leaks of 3D images. This is a 4-year-old drawn sketch. I don't know. But the U-shaped kickstand, do you know what the dock is? Because to me, it just looks like a fatter dock.
Yeah, it's honestly, if this is what it ends up being, can't lie, a little disappointing. I've been a big proponent of the idea that somehow, some way, the dock you'll still be able to see the screen of the Switch console itself in the dock. I don't know why. That just seems like a weird Nintendo idea that they would allow, and maybe it has a clock on there or something, but this is just the same dock. We can even see the same 2 USB ports.
Yes.
At least the 4-year-old decided to add in the USB ports, so shout out for that. But it looks the exact same, maybe a little bit beefier to, support ray traced 4K, DLSS, whatever we end up getting, but it looks kind of the exact same, to be honest.
I thought that, so you obviously saw the leaked images that came out, right? There was a USB-C port on the top of the console. I thought that they would go Steam Deck route and make a dock where you set the system on this holder type thing, and there's a small 6-inch USB-C cable that goes over top and plugs in on the top. I guess not. We have the same thing here. How about the U-shaped kickstand though? That's pretty good.
Yeah, I am actually. I've been holding out. I do not have a Nintendo Switch OLED. I don't know if that revokes my YouTuber card or whatever, but I don't have an OLED. My base March 2017 Nintendo Switch is still kicking.
Dang.
One part of that Switch that is not kicking though is the kickstand. It does not work. It is horrendous. So I know the OLED has kind of a similar design. It's not a U shape, but it does kind of cover the entire back of the Switch itself. And from everything I've heard from friends who have the console, the OLED kickstand actually works, which the base one just like doesn't half the time. So, I mean, it's better than what I got. So it'll be an upgrade for me. But again, it's still kind of like, I feel like we've seen this before. Like for all intents and purposes, we have.
And the OLED kickstand, you know what? And I was kind of like you. I didn't have an OLED. I got one late last year, about like 1 year ago at this point. I got the Splatoon 3 OLED because I was waiting, honestly, to see if they would make a Mario Wonder OLED, and they made the red one, but I was like, that's not good enough. Give me the Splatoon one. The kickstand, definitely a lot better on the OLED. I mean, this is a cool change. I'm not sure if we needed it. I'm not sure if it's gonna light the world on fire. But U-shaped kickstand, is there anything that I'm missing? I think it's just fat dock, different kickstand.
Yeah, it looks pretty much the exact same. The only other thing I can note is it looks like on the side of the console itself, you can see like normally the railings kind of start from the top because you got to be able to slide in your Switch. But all the leaks have been saying that this new Switch kind of attaches, like the Joy-Con attach from the side magnetically. I guess you can kind of see that there. There seems to be like a slot rather than the full railing. So I guess that lends more credibility to everything else we've seen about Switch 2. But now, besides that, it looks pretty much the same. I find these sketches so funny. Like, what does it come to, man? This is what this is what we're using for our Switch 2 leaks and whatnot. But hey, if it's real, then might as well.
And leaks, like people are like, stop talking about leaks. They're not real. Leaks are my favorite part because you obviously, I mean, you've probably seen the that like oval Switch concept with like the two thumbsticks on. Have you seen that? Like, these things are the best. So we'll have to see if this is real. We'll probably know in a matter of months. Let's talk. Well, I guess our main segment is mostly Switch 2. I was going to say let's talk a little bit about it, but we can save it for then. I have some questions. I want to know your takes on things, but we can save it for the main segment. Our next piece of news here. I talked about this last show. This has to stop, Thomas. This has to stop. 2 huge Nintendo Switch games have leaked online. You might have been covering Nintendo longer than me, Thomas. Do you ever remember this many games getting leaked this early? Like, even I'm not sure if you were covering it majorly in the Wii U era. Anytime, have they ever been leaked this much?
No. I think the Wii U era, I don't know if there were enough people to even leak the games. Those were pretty dark days, man. But I remember I started covering Nintendo on YouTube in 2017, right before Odyssey came out. I remember Odyssey leaked a little bit. Smash Ultimate was definitely out. I think that one actually came out a good few weeks beforehand. But besides that, it feels like every single game now is you gotta mute everything, get off Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. If you don't want to get spoiled, you gotta be very, diligent, because every time it feels like when does Mario and Luigi Brothership come out? That's a couple of weeks away, right?
November 7th.
How is that already?
Yeah.
How is that already leaked? That's that's 2 full weeks away from the day we're recording this. What are they doing?
So the 2 games are Mario and Luigi Brothership, which comes out, as of recording, that's what, 1, 2, 3 weeks? Yeah, I think so, right? Wait, or is it 2?
2.
No, it's 2. It's 2. Wait.
Yeah, 2. Because it's on 2. The 7th, then it's a week of October, then a week of November.
Right. So that game, and then Sonic X Shadow Generations, which will be out by the time this podcast is out this Saturday. Comes out this Friday. But I think that one's been leaked for the past week, if not longer. So it still is bad. I don't know. This is good to talk about. I just feel like there's got to be something that we can do. Or, I mean, not that this is I'm trying to like really put an end to this whole thing. But like the spoilers get out, you know, it's just bad. Nothing great comes out of this. I just feel like that there's something Nintendo can do.
Yeah. You would think. I mean, you would think they could stop this. It feels kind of like back when, you know, rest his soul, I think he's off the face of the planet. The Nintendo ninjas probably got to him. But remember when Pyora was literally leaking every single thing in every direct? Like, It was fun to a point because it's like, you know, it feels like, oh, we're getting access early. But then also the direct comes and, you know, we pretty much know everything beforehand. And you kind of lose that, like, everyone learning something at the exact same time that you would get with, like, a Steven Smash reveal that literally broke Twitter. Like, this sort of thing, I feel like, what is the point of a release date now if media companies obviously get the game way early for review embargoes, but then also any random person who has like a Switch and like a paperclip is how you hack like your base Switch model. Like anyone can get access to these games, especially I know Nintendo's trying to shut down the emulators, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be something they can do. Although the only thing that I can like think of something they can actually do to stop this would be pretty much canceling like, you know, not sending retailers digital or physical copies until like after the game launches digitally. Like maybe the game launches digital and then they start sending out copies, because it always happens because some retailer, mom and pop shop or whatever, you know, breaks the release date, the street date, and that's always how it happens. Obviously, I don't want Nintendo to stop, you know, sending out physical copies right away, and I don't think they will. But I don't know. I feel like they're also just going to make a huge example out of someone soon, but I don't even know if that stops it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking, like, I'm just waiting for some article that says, like, leaker got sued. And,
yeah,
you know, I sound like a shill, like, yeah, just please sue somebody here. I just, like, I don't want to see spoilers. That's why I wanted to stop. But, yeah, maybe they'll get sued. I've always said this, you know, I sound so like anti-emulation, anti-piracy. I've always said this. If you want to stop these things, if you go after one person, no one's going to do it again. I mean, like, you know, no one's going to do it again.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation. I'm not like they can try. They could try and just sue some poor guy who's playing Brothership already and just ruin this guy's life. I mean, they have the power to do that. Like they could just take you to court and for all you're worth. I don't even know if that necessarily stops it. Like I feel like the Nintendo community is so the people who are into Nintendo are so into Nintendo that I don't know if, you know, seeing that sort of thing necessarily puts a complete stop to it. But I'm not sure. That's the only thing I can think of them actually doing, though, because you are right. This does need to stop. It's every single game now. It's getting to a point where, like, what are we even doing?
It's going to be interesting to follow, and hopefully no major spoilers for at least Brothership come out. I mean, they probably will, but, you know, hopefully we don't see those. But something that we have seen and something that has also been leaked is our next piece of news. And I'm going to tread very, very lightly here because Nintendo, I would say there's like an activity meter for the Nintendo Ninjas. I would say it's not at an all-time high, but it's pretty high right now. So I'm going to tread lightly here. The Nintendo Switch Online playtest, the big mysterious playtest that everyone's been talking about and speculating about, we now know the details of it, and it's now available for those who are in the playtest. And I can tell you what I know about it, but just to be extra safe, I'm going to go off of an article written by The Verge, and they describe exactly what this whole playtest is. Let me go ahead and read it, and then we can talk about the information here. Gonna tread lightly, but here we go. This appears to be Nintendo's attempt to develop its first MMO, massively multiplayer online style game, according to the game description. The goal is to work with others to fully develop a massive, expansive planet by utilizing creativity and framed resources. Players will encounter new lands, enemies, and resources as they progress and utilize beacons that create zones to develop the environment around where they're placed. These beacon zones are personal Players can only move, lift, or edit items in zones they have placed and can't edit anything within someone else's beacon. There's a separate social hub called the Dev Core where players can level up, obtain items, and interact with each other. Nintendo also describes UGC, user-generated content, features for creating and sharing custom content, but players are required to pass an in-game test to show you that you understand the importance of respectful communication before this capability can be unlocked. So even halfway through that, Thomas, I was worried, like, I might be reading too much here, but let's just roll the dice, post this podcast, and hope that I don't get struck down. Based on this description, I mean, is it what you expected?
I don't know. I don't even think I expected anything. This is like, so full disclosure, I am not in the playtest. So I am only going off of information that is floating around. I feel like you ever play the new college football game where they got the stadium pulse meter when like, never mind. Maybe the wrong reference to throw out on a Nintendo podcast. But that's what I feel like with the Nintendo ninjas, coming after us. There's a lot of stuff here that I also think Nintendo might be a little naive, I will say, for a massively multiplayer online style game. Specifically, like, okay, if you're going to make any UGC user-generated content and share it around, you have to pass an in-game test to show that you understand the importance of respectful communication. My brother, that is doing absolutely nothing. That is doing absolutely nothing to stop people posting, whatever. Like, I don't know if you remember the I forget what update it was, but there was some update. It might have been the one with Joker. I don't remember, but for Smash Ultimate, where they also added the stage builder and the ability to share stages online. Mm-hmm. And for about a solid month and a half after that, you could not even click into that because it would take you to like the most downloaded stages, and they were not
terrible.
They were not good. They were not Nintendo friendly. There was. Yeah, it was very scuffed. So I just do not see a universe in which taking a quiz that's probably like, trying to steer people away from controversial content. I think the people who make that sort of content know it's controversial. They're doing it to, troll, I guess. So I don't think that really helps at all.
This is so not what I expected. I thought it would be some sort of, it's a play test, not a, hey, here's GameCube games. I thought it would be some like online stress test, and that's kind of what it is. I mean, that's what it is. I didn't think it would be like a almost, I wouldn't say fully fleshed game, like a playable, cool game from, what it sounds. It's confusing to me. I mean, listen, I have to say, I'm trying to find the words here, so I don't. It sounds cool because for those who don't know, I've played it. So I'm trying to like not say too much. It's. I'm sorry, Thomas. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Let me take it over. There's nothing you can say. I mean, this is like, it's another example of Nintendo just not necessarily understanding online. Like, how are you going to put a playtest out except 10,000 people in and then not like, they're not forcing NDAs, but they're striking anyone who talks about it. So yeah, the information is going to get out there. I feel like I'm in college right now. I'm in university and I'm studying like some marketing stuff, and I took a PR class a little bit ago, and like the main takeaway from that class is you want to get ahead of any information. If you know that information is going to come out and it, whether it's potentially damaging to your brand or potentially, positive, you want to be the one to get that information to people and put your own spin on this. Nintendo they did not take my, intro to PR class or whatever. I mean, clearly they have some other idea, but it's just one of those things where, okay, like the idea is cool. There is actually a gameplay loop here. You can place your beacons higher and higher to be able to claim more land. I don't necessarily know if the gameplay loop itself is something they're trying to test or if this is strictly for the servers, because they could really kind of spin this off into its own game. But from everything I have seen as someone who is not in the playtest, and I will not make you elaborate on this, but from everything I have seen, it looks still very, very bare bones, which is fine. You know, Nintendo has done playtests before. Obviously, you have the more server stress test stuff like the Splatoon global test fire that they did for all 3 Splatoon games, or the ARMS global test punch. But then you also have stuff like, I think in E3 2014, they had 2 different playable demos on the show floor, RIP E3, but they had Project Giant Robot, which ended up being Labo Toy-Con 2 or whatever, and then Project Guard, which ended up being bundled in with Star Fox Zero for all 6 people who bought that game. So they clearly they have this sort of mentality of doing these playtests and then letting it cook for however long it needs to. Like, I think the Labo one took like 4+ years for them to find a way to work it into a project. So I don't know if this necessarily, you know, if this gameplay loop of beacons, fighting enemies, gathering resources, if this is going to be exactly what we get. But this, you know, the main takeaway here for me at least is dedicated servers. They at least have the capacity to do that. They have the capacity to host a bunch of people online. Like, we were talking about this before, but maybe like the next Animal Crossing. Like, this is an idea I've had for a minute. Like, Animal Crossing New Horizons, I think, good game. The multiplayer completely, you know, let it down, in my opinion. And I think Nintendo has to know that. Like, what if the next Animal Crossing game is something like this, where you claim an area of land? Maybe you even have to, like, not fight off monsters, because that's not very Animal Crossing like, but you have to clear the land and make it, you know, inhabitable. And then, you know, you place, I guess it wouldn't be a beacon in it. Maybe it would, I don't know. But like, you place something to claim the land, and then you can walk in one giant server, in one giant online thing, walk from your town to the next town or something like that. Like, those sort of ideas are now somewhat possible, it would appear, because they have the capacity to do these MMO style servers. And that's something I'm super looking forward to. But the core gameplay loop of the playtest itself, again, as someone who has not played the playtest, I don't know if like this, I don't think this is the final iteration of what this will end up like becoming.
I don't think so either. I don't think so. Sorry, I like stop before I say anything. It doesn't feel final. I can say it doesn't feel final. There's footage out there. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Do what you will. But yeah, I don't think it's final. And I love your Animal Crossing idea. Like, I want to see all these games, any game, just have like this massive hub, like where it feels almost community-like in a way. Like, even if, you know, the Splatoon 3 Plaza, fantastic example, where there's all these, you know, they aren't like real playing people, but there's all these other, you know, players in the plaza. It feels more of like a community thing as opposed to, you know, not having that. I would like to see it, but before I get struck down, let's go ahead and move on. That's all interesting, though. That's all interesting. But what's also interesting, and what we found out about over the past couple days, Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Smash Bros, Kirby, Kid Icarus, is that right?
Kid Icarus Uprising, yeah. The 3DS like revival of that series.
Awesome. He has a YouTube channel, which is now kind of, it's pretty much ended, but he put out his final video, and he said in that video he's been working on a secret game ever since July of 2021, and now we're here to speculate on what the game is. So he said that he pitched the game in July of 2021, and he says it'll be announced soon. Pretty soon. Now, once again, he's worked on Smash Bros. It could easily be that. Kirby, or a Kid Icarus thing, or something totally new. But based on what he's done, it's mostly Smash Bros. Stuff, Kirby stuff, and then also the Kid Icarus game. Honestly, what do we think this is, Thomas? Do we think it's Smash Bros?
No, and here's why. I don't think it's a new Smash, because from Smash for Wii U and 3DS, all the way up until Ultimate and the end of Ultimate DLC, he was just on Smash Bros. Like, they started Ultimate pretty much right after. This is I think he said this in interviews. They started Ultimate pretty much right after finishing up Bayonetta and the original Smash 4 fighter ballot and all that. So to see him instantly then go into another Smash Bros. Game, definitely possible. I just don't necessarily think that's what they'd ask him to do right away. I also don't think it's Kirby, because from what I understand, he seems to have, you know, HAL has a great thing going. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was a huge success for them. I don't see him then going back to work on Kirby. I think he even stated after Air Ride, which I believe was the last Kirby game he directed, that he was kind of stepping away. He didn't like how somewhat formulaic, and he didn't like the restraints that Kirby had kind of fallen into. My dream is Kid Icarus Uprising 2 or some sort of new Kid Icarus game. However, I don't think they do that until they port Uprising or remaster Uprising over to Switch, and I don't think they would ask Sakurai to clearly this is a new game. I don't think this would be a whole thing if it was a remaster or whatever. So I'm kind of leaning towards not a new IP, but a new IP for Sakurai, in the same way that he had never touched Kid Icarus. No one had really touched Kid Icarus since the 90s, but he hadn't touched Kid Icarus before they asked him to revive it for the 3DS. So maybe some sort of new IP. I'm just trying to rack my mind of what is a dormant Nintendo IP that could use that creative jolt. Star Fox is the first thing that comes to mind, but that's this is pure speculation. Absolutely no, data on this, but I don't think it's Smash Bros though.
Yeah, my first thought was Smash Bros, but then I was like, no, probably not. And as you said, he's not really been credited for any kind of Kirby stuff ever since the 2000s, so probably not Kirby. Kid Icarus, that would be cool. I've never actually played Uprising. I know that that community would be hyped about any kind of new Kid Icarus. I don't know, honestly. I'm kind of with you. I think it probably would be something new. Not brand new, but a new reboot, a far-fetched Chibi Robo. That's probably that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Something like that though. I don't think they're gonna give him. They're not gonna give him Mario or Zelda. They have teams for that. They're not gonna give him Animal Crossing, Splatoon. It's not gonna be one of Nintendo's core big IP. Clearly, it's going to be something Nintendo related. If we're kind of leaning against Smash and Kirby, it's got to be Chibi Robo might not be that far off. It's got to be some sort of Nintendo IP, unless he's doing a completely new IP, which clearly he can do. He created Kirby, so imagine just getting a brand new Sakurai IP. That would be wild.
The other interesting thing to note is he says that he wrote the pitch for the game in July of 2021. Do we know what happened in that month? I think Skyward Sword HD released, but that wouldn't inspire him to do anything.
I think that kind of random. I think Switch OLED got announced that month.
Oh yeah,
but
right.
I don't think that necessarily impacts.
Yeah, I don't think
anything.
So.
I'm just trying to think of what this could possibly be. One other reason I don't think it's Smash is he stated that he had to assemble a team to make this game, and Sora, which is his company, and then Bandai, who worked on Smash Ultimate and Smash 4, they were kind of already all together. So I don't necessarily think you need to assemble a team if they were just going to run another Smash Bros game. He also said didn't he say he finished the pitch super quickly?
Yeah, wrote it real fast or something like that. Wrote it quickly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe that's not something we want to read into too much, because apparently he also recorded every video on the channel in a 2-month period or something. So he's built different from a work ethic standpoint. There's really nothing we can read into on that front. But I don't know. I'm feeling it's something. It's gonna be something new, something unique, and that's at least what I'm. That's reason enough to be excited beyond the fact it's just a new Sakurai directed game. You thinking this is for Switch 2 though? Because that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, I think it has to, because he said that it would be announced soon, but honestly, anything announced soon has to be for even the next Direct is probably going to be Switch 2 focus. I don't see a November Direct this year where it's all Switch. No. It's probably whatever's announced next is probably Switch 2 and Switch 2 games. I think it's for Switch 2.
Yeah, I think that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD port is probably the last of the really going off with a bang, Nintendo. But that's probably one of the last big Switch games. I think anything else might, if it even comes out on Switch, it'll be a dual release sort of thing. But Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's definitely Switch 2, and that's probably the reason why he's saying it's announced soon, but being very vague on that front, because you got to obviously wait for the console to be announced in order to announce the games for the console. So
For sure. We're going to have to see what that is, but now it is time to get to our main segment, the topic of what should Nintendo Switch 2's first year look like? What games, what accessory, what special editions, whatever should happen year one. We're going to talk about it right now. Hello there. Before the next segment, I would like to take a moment to interrupt the program and tell you about our new podcast merch. Yes, if you are a Mario Matter fan, you can now shop EmSwizzle.shop. Go ahead, put it in your web browser, EmSwizzle.shop. You can go there and check out limited edition posters for this podcast. They're all autographed by me. They're running out, so I would go ahead, EmSwizzle.shop. There's some posters there. We got some t-shirts, got a mug, a straw cup, a sticker. There's so much merch over on EmSwizzle.shop, and it's super affordable too. Go check it out if you want to support the podcast and get some of our merchandise. With that said, let's get to the next segment. Nintendo Switch 2 is set to be revealed within the coming months, and after those months and after the console releases, we are now kind of in the year one of the console, and it's not too far away. So right now, I just want to have a conversation, not very structured, although it can be, about what's going to happen year one. But I do want to ask you this. Thomas, are you team, at this point, as of recording, it is October 24th, are you team Switch 2 is being shown off in 2024 or 25?
Oh, so I was quite literally just having this conversation with Mac and a couple of the other guys I do YouTube videos with. I don't know. They're all doomer pilled now. They think it's not coming out at all. I saw a very funny tweet that was something along the lines of like, there's no way we get Switch 2 now because it's Halloween this week, election the week after, like, you know, Brothership, all this. And I'm like,
I saw that, yeah.
I don't know if that necessarily is the end-all be-all for Nintendo announcing a new console, but I don't know. I think part of me is, like, the optimistic part of me wants to say, yeah, and I do think it's definitely still possible, but I think it's probably going to be, like, started January. I think probably, like, January, like, 6th or 7th, 8th, like, around there, we get, like, a, hey, you know, tune in next week for the trailer. We get the trailer, and then in February is when we get that big, like, show, you know, maybe it's a direct or maybe it's like the showcase they did in January 2017 for the base Switch, where they just kind of fully blow it out, talk about all the new features in depth, the new specs, the new hardware, and the new software, like the launch titles, and kind of that whole first year that I guess we're going to get to right now. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's getting shown off this year, which is quite the bummer for sure, but is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, that's a real bummer. I was very big team 2024 until now. Like now, yeah. I am switched over to 2025, and I mean, there's a Hail Mary shot. You can sandwich it in between after the election and after Brothership and before Thanksgiving in America. You can throw it in there, I guess, but I don't see that being very likely. So yeah, we're gonna see the Switch 2, I would guess, in 2025. If I had to be specific, though, I think I think late January. I think that because you want to give Donkey Kong Country Returns, even though it's not a very like hyped game.
that's the most.
I mean, I don't know. You know, it's
no. You're right.
It's not a big game that you want to let it breathe, but like, you know, it's a game. Yeah. That we've already bought twice. That's coming out again. I would say late January, but I would love it if it came before that. So, year one of the Switch, Thomas, the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal trailer drops, and they show the console, and they show the games on the console. What games, first party or third party, are you expecting to see in the reveal trailer, which will probably just so happen to come out year one?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start with third party actually, because I think this is slightly more like easier to nail down and it's less like kind of pie in the sky predictions. But I definitely think there will be a pretty decent third party presence in the initial reveal trailer. For the Switch itself, we got Skyrim showed off and NBA. Well, I guess it would have been like 2K18, 2K17 at the time. But those were like, that was big because Skyrim on a Nintendo console just didn't even seem possible at the time. Obviously, you know, looking back now, it's like, all right, yeah, it makes sense. Skyrim's on everything. But at the time, it was crazy. And then same with 2K. Like, we didn't get those sorts of games on the Wii U. Like, the Wii U had a couple of Maddens, maybe. And that's actually something I could see making a return, is a Madden or a college football type, because those are just big games. Like, they sell ridiculously well, you know, regardless of quality. So I could see something like that being in there for the third-party aspect of things. I don't know. The only other thing that would be like a big reveal would be maybe like a Call of Duty type thing, because, you know, Nintendo and Microsoft have been a little buddy recently, but I don't know if they put that sort of game in the reveal trailer. I know it's M-rated, just like, I'm pretty sure Skyrim's M-rated, but, or maybe it's T for teen, I don't know, but like,
I forget too.
It just feels weird to think of Nintendo putting COD gameplay in the like initial first look at their new console. But like, those are kind of the ideas I would have for third party, because they're just going to try and show the power of this thing, really. And they're only going to do that by showing games that people are playing on their PS5s, Xbox Series X, whatever. So yeah, those are my ideas for third party, but I'm curious to like, maybe like some weird, like absolute Hail Mary left field, like Death Stranding port or something, but I don't know.
I was gonna say Madden, but now I kind of walked back that pick, because like, this is a trailer that's gonna be seen by the whole world. I feel like you can get a better game. Madden's cool, and we haven't seen it on Switch. It's a great game that I would want to come to Switch too, but I feel like, does it make the reveal trailer? Like, maybe this is a barrier that doesn't actually exist, but I feel like other countries, like maybe not are as familiar with Madden.
True.
I feel like that could be kind of like a block there.
Mm-hmm.
Third party, I mean, as you said, you gotta wow people with some game that, you know, takes a lot of power. I'm not sure what that would be, because honestly, I don't play a whole lot of third party stuff, but I would say generally things that a lot of people want on the Switch or any sort of Nintendo system that is not there. Maybe somebody out there could fill in the blanks of what exactly third-party games, you know, what exact ones could come over. I can't think of any right now, but some powerful ones and very popular ones. Call of Duty would be a great shout, but as you said, mature, you probably don't want that in there anyway. It's tough, but first party is where it gets interesting. There has to be Mario Kart 9 in there, right?
Yeah, I'm of the mindset, and I've been thinking about this for a minute. I think the console launches with a new 3D Mario, and that first holiday we probably get a Mario Kart 9, you know, Nintendo Kart, whatever it ends up being. Mm-hmm. Do they show both of those in the trailer? That would be an insane trailer, seeing a new Mario Kart and a new 3D Mario at once. I don't know if they want to like dump everything in that first trailer, but also like, that's the place to do it when you're announcing a new console, announcing probably two of what will end up being two of the top 5 selling games on the console when you know, years down the line, probably. Yeah. So that maybe they show both, honestly. Like, maybe they show a new 3D Mario and a new Mario Kart.
I think that you do, because Switch 2, if you look at it based on what we are seeing off of leaks, it just looks like a Switch. That's pretty much it. The games, I think, are what's gonna wow people. Because the console, like when we were watching the Switch 1 trailer, of course, because there's no Switch 2 trailer, I feel like one of the biggest reactions wasn't even like, oh, look, there's a new Zelda game. That was part of it. But the other part was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. You can switch from TV to head. Oh my gosh, how come I didn't think of that? You aren't going to have that this time. I think it has to be the games that carry it. And so I think that you do show Mario Kart 9, 3D Mario. Not a whole lot, but just like a couple clips, and that's about it. And then talk more about it later. But yeah, I think games are going to have to carry the trailer. I think Mario Kart, 3D Mario, and maybe like a tech demo, maybe like, you know, the 1-2 switch for the Switch 2, whatever that ends up being. those three. I mean, what was shown off in the first? We had Mario Odyssey was shown. Zelda was shown. Mario Kart
8 Deluxe.
But,
yeah. There was the 2K footage. There was the Skyrim, and then it ended with Splatoon 2.
Oh, right.
I remember
that. Yeah.
They had a whole esports thing like set up for it.
Right.
I think that might be it in terms of games shown off. Obviously, it started with Breath of the Wild. Yeah, so in reality, we're only really looking at about
3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah. Like maybe like 5 or 6 games total, but a couple of those are going to be third party.
Like
so
3, maybe like 3 first party, 3 third party, somewhere in that. That range,
that's probably realistic. I also would not be surprised at all. Oh, well, first off, I should probably preface by: do you think the console will be backwards compatible with Switch 1?
I think it has to be, and that's a great point. They should show that off in the trailer. I think if, please, if it is backwards compatible, if not, Nintendo, what are you doing? But if it is backwards compatible, I think they have to show an iconic Switch game being played. And to be honest, I think that's Breath of the Wild. I think they just show Breath of the Wild again. It's kind of funny because they showed it in the last one, but there were a bunch of rumors about like a 4K tech demo of Breath of the Wild. So maybe if that ends up being something they actually release, whether it's, as its own game or a like free I don't know if it would be an update or what, but like if you put the Breath of the Wild cartridge in your new Switch, you can play it, at higher resolution or whatever. I think they definitely show some form of backwards compatibility to just kind of reassure everyone like, hey, you can play, all those Switch games you have in the 100 million plus consoles that are out there. You can play those on the new one. So we have this trailer. It's got Mario Kart. It's got 3D Mario, whatever it has. At the end of the, 1 year cycle, so let's say that it released, for example, I don't know, June 1st, 2025. I don't think that'll happen, but, say, what if June 1st, 2026, Thomas, we have the list of all the games that released over that year period. What would be, not all of them, but like, what would be like a few that make the list? Mario Kart, probably, in 3D Mario.
Yep. Wow. I think you're right in the sense that there definitely has to be some sort of tech demo. Like to show, I don't even know what they'd be showing, whether it's that like rumored like camera attachment that goes with like the USB-C thing on top, something like that. I think there's some sort of tech demo. I don't think it'll necessarily release within the first year of the console, but I think it will be revealed within the first year and release, maybe holiday of 2026. I think we're getting a new Animal Crossing soon on this console. Yeah. I think they saw how big of a system seller it was even in COVID. I think the Splatoon and Animal Crossing teams like share a lot of key development members. Splatoon wrapped up its final grand Splatfest or whatever, so no new content there, no developers actively working on it besides like bug fixes or whatever. I think Animal Crossing is going to be a big one. Zelda is, I want to get your thoughts on this. Zelda, I think, is in a very peculiar spot because obviously we're not getting a new 3D Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom, it's been over a year now, but it came out 2023 May. So we're not getting a brand new 3D Zelda unless it's some sort of like remake. If they want to really lean into, hey, the graphics are so nice here, look at this remaster of Ocarina of Time or whatever. But we're also not getting a new 2D Zelda because we just got Echoes of Wisdom like a month ago. So they try, I feel like they would want to have a Zelda game come out at some point pretty early, but I don't know what that game would be.
Yeah, I think honestly, so the gap between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom was 6 years. 6 years between Tears of the Kingdom, it'd be 2029. We can't wait that long. I think you remaster. I think that you remaster / remake Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I mean, what can you do? Like, what do you do with that? I think that you remaster those. Maybe, I'm not sure if you put them out at the same time or what you do. Like 1 or 2 years later, you drop. I was gonna say 2D Zelda, but like, can you whip one out? Like, make one that quick? I don't know. And then, of course, that's like holding us over for 3D Zelda.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you do in between, That is tough.
I don't know. It's tough. I'm trying to think if there's like a way to like, this might be super controversial. Actually, I already know it would be, but I'm trying to think if there's any way to incorporate Zelda into like online, like not necessarily in the whole MMO thing we are potentially maybe seeing with this playtest, but the whole idea of like Four Swords Adventure kind of has that like you link up the Game Boy Advance to the GameCube sort of thing, and then they kind of revisited that with Triforce Heroes, which reused the art style of A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. They're already clearly reusing this modern 2D Zelda art style. It was first Link's Awakening, and now it's Echoes of Wisdom.
Right.
I would not hate at all if they came out with a new like cooperative, maybe it's local multiplayer, maybe there's online, I don't know, but like kind of reusing most of the same assets, but all the puzzles are different because they're designed for multiple people. That could be a way to get 2D. I don't think it would come out in like 2025, but maybe if we get remaster in the first year of the console's life, and then a couple years after that, we get the new 2D Zelda, because I feel like that could have a quick turnaround. Then a couple years after that, eventually we get a 3D Zelda.
Give me Super Zelda Maker.
Oh, I've been saying this. Yeah. That was one of the first videos I did that like blew up. I just like made a fake Zelda Maker trailer. And I there's so many like issues potentially with that idea, because it would be a lot harder to create like a Zelda, whether it's just dungeons or an entire campaign and world. It would be a lot harder than a Mario Maker level, but I the idea is so encapsulating, and clearly people are into it, because I made a video about it, and people in the comments were very like, oh, this would be the coolest thing ever. That is a great idea. I would love to see it. I'm not necessarily sure how they would do it, in the sense of like, do you make the whole game? Do you make just a dungeon? Do you make like there were the little I haven't actually played Echoes of Wisdom yet, so I don't remember the name, but like the Still World, I think, where it wasn't like full dungeons, but they were kind of like shrine based in the way that they were like super quick bite-sized challenges where you would hop into like the Still World with all the abyss and whatnot, and then try and solve a couple puzzles, maybe something like that. I'm not sure.
I will say though, I think it's actually it's not to like kind of like not use your not to like kind of dumb down your idea, but I feel like no matter what you do, it's gonna be not very accessible to a lot of people.
No,
like
Mario
agree,
Maker, 100%.
You like pick it up and you can make a level. With Zelda Maker, it's like, okay, what am I doing here? Like it's kind of hard. I think Zelda, you do a few remasters. You can also do Hyrule Warriors. It's not everyone's favorite, but you do have that to fall back on.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
We have Mario Kart. Well, do you think that is year one, right?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be like, say we're saying the Switch 2 comes out in June. I think it launches with a new 3D Mario, and Mario Kart is the big holiday title. That's kind of been my thought process. Mario
Kart, 3D Mario, some sort of Zelda. Do we think Kirby could be in there anywhere? Kind of random, but
yeah, I could see it. Forgotten Land came out
2022, so
22, so
a little bit of time.
They've had the time. I mean, they did a remaster of, what was it, Return to Dreamland Deluxe or something?
Yep.
So they pump one of those out, like, it feels like every year though. So they definitely have the time to do it. So yeah, I could definitely see a Kirby game coming out. Pokemon, I think, might actually be a little late. They're generally pretty late in terms of getting to the next console. Like
ZA though.
See, I don't know. Have you seen any of the like big Game Freak leaks?
A little bit, not everything.
Okay, yeah. From what I've vaguely seen, I'm completely off like Twitter. I just had to tap out. But from what I've heard from friends, it supposedly that is being developed exclusively for Switch 1, but that also is coming from like it's coming from my friends learning about a leak on Twitter. So let's take that with the biggest grain of salt. But even just looking at past like Pokemon, like I'm pretty sure Black 2, White 2 came out after the 3DS came out. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon definitely came out after the Switch came out. They seem to kind of always be lagging behind a little bit in terms of consoles, because they know their games are going to sell well regardless. So might as well just put them on the bigger install base, at least like right away. So yeah, this might be a hot take. I would not expect any mainline Pokemon games that first year. Maybe a spinoff or something, but I don't think a mainline Pokemon game comes out.
Yeah, and I mean, they can even throw on like Pokken tournament. I mean, like, there can be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, like some sort of Pokemon on the Switch 2 without it being a mainline. And they could do that. I like what you said, Animal Crossing announced in year 1, but will, release later on.
I mean, we'll see. Potentially not out, but like definitely announced. Prime 4. 100%.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I don't know how we forgot about that. I'm pretty sure that's still a Switch 1 game, but there will definitely be some form of Metroid on Switch 2, whether it's like a not remaster, but like, I don't even know if you would call it a re-release. If that gets like a dual release where it's like, upgraded graphics on Switch 2.
It'll just like run better, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually probably one of the games I think they show. That would probably be the game they show for backwards compatibility actually in the trailer. But I definitely think Prime 4, I have a weird gut feeling. I've never played a Xenoblade game for more than 20 minutes, but I have a gut feeling we get Xenoblade Chronicles X remastered or ported over. Just because that's the one Xenoblade game that you can't play on Switch. And Monolith Soft is just ridiculous. It seems like there's a new Xenoblade game like every year, whether it's like the Golden Torna expansion pass for like Xenoblade 2 or whatever. It seems like they're always doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Xenoblade Chronicles X port. What else could there even be? I'm trying to it's not going to be a new Mario Party. Just got Jamboree.
Yeah, can't do that.
Maybe a Mario sports game.
Yeah, tennis. You got, it wouldn't be Striker. So the first one that came out on Switch was it
Tennis Aces? Yeah.
That could be due.
Yeah, they could do another one. I think the community for Mario sports games will explode if it's anything other than Sluggers, the baseball one. People have been asking for that one for so long. But yeah, I mean, 2018 was when we got Aces, so that's definitely due. I honestly, they could even do another golf because that came out in 2020. But honestly, they're not gonna skip tennis again and also just completely skip Sluggers if they go straight to golf. Yeah. But yeah, I could see that because I think they're definitely gonna try and get as much Mario on this console, kind of off rip, just at the start. I'm trying to think, what else could there be?
Do you think, you don't have to guess what exactly, but do you think any new IPs?
Ooh,
I think one.
Yeah, I could see one. I could see something taking the ARM slot of the Switch 2, where it's it's not a launch title, but it comes out pretty close to launch, and it's, not to say ARMS was a crazy system seller, but I definitely know it, at the time, it got people really excited because we're just coming off of Splatoon, and it's Nintendo's making new IP again. Their last one was a huge success. Now we're getting ARMS. Potentially might have been a bit of a disappointment. Don't come after me, ARMS community. But I could definitely see some new IP. And hey, who knows? Maybe that's a new MMO for reasons I will not get into. But maybe it's some massive online thing. We don't know. I could see some new IP though, because I feel like that always it kind of makes it feel like it's a new console. Okay, they're turning the page, new era of Nintendo. We got new characters and everything on this new console. I definitely think that's a good point.
And then with ARMS also came some new colored Joy-Cons and some new. Do you see any accessories that we need year one? It's kind of a weird question. Not many accessories that we do need, but Mario Kart steering wheel for Switch 2, maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. A little hunk of plastic to put your, Joy-Con 2 in or whatever. One thing of talking about accessories is Nintendo is selling now a Joy-Con charging stand,
right,
which kind of leads a lot of people, including myself, to believe that the new Joy-Con won't have the same railing mechanism. Because if they did, then why would they sell this new stand? You could just charge your old Joy-Con on Switch 2. So that makes me think that we're going to get some new Joy-Con grips, new form factor for that, new form factor for any sort of external Joy-Con charging, whatever. And whether that has to do with the magnets, we've heard in plenty of rumors and leaks, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I definitely think we get some new accessories, and I'm holding out hope for this dang camera thing, man. The USB-C port on top of the console, I think that could be used for maybe a camera, maybe even a secondary screen if we're getting super ambitious. But I definitely think there will be some form of accessory. I've kind of always thought that the Switch 2 will have a lot of accessories because that's going to be the console itself is kind of very
same.
similar. So
yeah,
that's where they can kind of switch things up and bring back that Nintendo like innovation.
Pun intended.
Not even, but I'll claim it. I'll say it was intended.
But yeah, accessories, games. I guess the final point that we can go to here is we said Animal Crossing would be announced for year 2. Any other games that like just would not make year 1, but we could see announced? I have to think about this too. I mean, Mario Sports, as we said. I mean, if you drop tennis in year 1, you can always announce another one for year 2, like a golf or even a sluggers, right? Like a baseball. Yeah. You can always go back to that. That could be one of them. Animal Crossing, as we said.
Animal Crossing is a big one. See, we're in a weird spot because I think I've already, I'm on record saying I think Animal Crossing will come out early, but then where does that leave Splatoon? That's one of Nintendo's biggest franchises.
Where does that go?
I don't know how they would do that. I don't know if they'd like try and split the development team up into 2. Maybe have some external help. I think Monolith actually might have helped out on Splatoon 3, but don't quote me on that. I think we'll probably see some Splatoon related thing though, because that is a huge, like especially in Japan, huge series. Another thing that I got to bring up is Smash Bros. If we're we didn't mention it, but we're kind of under the mindset of whatever Sakurai's new game is probably not Smash related, and also will probably come out within the first year of the Switch. Maybe a Smash announcement, but I don't think it'll come out year 2, maybe year 3. Maybe we get an announcement in year 2 though. I'm not entirely sure.
It's so hard to like figure this out because I mean, all these games, I feel like Splatoon, you need as soon as possible. I think that's like early year 2, to be honest, but which sounds weird because that's so like, I guess that would be 2026. I guess it's 4-year gap. I don't know. I think you need that because that's one that'll stay active on the Switch 1. Like Splatoon 3 will not die. Like that's the only way to play Splatoon. You want it on the new console as soon as possible. But I guess that would push back Animal Crossing though, because I mean it can release like early 2027, which would still be considered year 2 if the console came out in June, perhaps. It's a tough conversation. I don't know. I'm not sure if the whole lineup will be stacked or if we're gonna be missing some things early on. I don't know, man. It's tough. Yeah. But are we ready to move on? I don't know. It's just a whole like Switch salad. I don't know.
It's so weird because like I think the main reason a lot of this is so weird is for the past like 2 or 3 years we've maybe at least myself, I've kind of been under the mindset of like, oh yeah, this is probably the last big Switch game for every Switch game. I think I thought that for Tears of the Kingdom. I definitely thought that for Wonder. So like there are a lot of series that it was like, oh yeah, we'll probably get one of these on Switch 2. And now we just got one on Switch 1, so obviously they gotta take their time. I can't really think of too much else. I'm trying to think of like any sort of I mean, I guess this isn't necessarily a game, but I do think there will be some form of GameCube. I don't know whether it's GameCube NSO or just like a couple of GameCube remasters. But I think that console's like getting to the point where it's definitely like retro enough, which sounds crazy, but I mean, it is, for them to put something on there. So yeah, maybe some GameCube stuff, but besides that, that's about all I got.
Let's go here. 3 games that we think will 100% be released in year 1.
Okay.
Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Does it make 3D Mario, right?
Yeah.
What's the third?
Oh, see,
new IP?
Yeah, I think new IP it's kind of funny because it wouldn't be the safe guess, but I think it might be.
Yeah, it might be.
It might be the safe guess.
Tech demo.
Yeah, some form of Wii Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports, 1-2 Switch type
something
game, or and then also we just don't know like what is Prime 4 gonna do? Is that gonna be a like dual release? Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many question marks right now.
And then accessories to come out: plastic Mario Kart wheel, Joy-Con silicone covers, all the random stuff will probably happen too. It'll be interesting. Are we ready to move to the Q&A? I don't know. I feel like we gotta put a little cap on this.
Yeah, no, we could talk about this forever and guess
sure.
absolutely nothing right, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I have no idea what they're gonna do.
We'll see, and we'll for sure have you back on when this all gets revealed, and we can laugh at how right or wrong we were. But folks, let's get to your favorite segment of the show, the Q&A segment, the question block segment, where me and Thomas answer your questions. You asked us. Let's go ahead. Let's get to it. Folks, you've made it to your favorite segment of the week. It is the question block segment, the Q&A segment. Me and Thomas answering your questions. If you want to ask a question, feel free. There's a YouTube community tab post that I post every single week. You can answer there, or the easiest way probably is to join our Discord server. Link down below. You can do that and ask questions there. But the first question, Thomas, I will begin with you for each question. And Just a Guy asks, what game series do you not want a new game for? By the way, loving the podcast. Spicy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel like whatever I say is about to get I'm about to get some hate from some fan base. I would say
That's
this
a hard
might
one.
Yeah, this might be a little, I mean, it's going to be controversial regardless.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Pikmin. Wait, is this new game forever or for like, I'm still in the mindset of like first couple years of the Switch too.
Oh, I feel like it's a forever.
Oh, if it's forever, okay, I take that back. Okay, I take that back. I thought I was like, Pikmin 4 was good. Let it breathe for a bit, but okay, if it's never.
Oh, maybe it is actually like that, like where it's not like I need one right now. I don't know. Let's do both. So Pikmin for one, and then forever. What's your answer?
Forever, Fire Emblem. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Just get it. I don't like it. It's not fun. I'm
the same. Xenoblade and Fire Emblem are the two that I've never touched. Unfortunately, I just have no interest. Also, like Ace Attorney, like those kinds of games, I'm just not really into. Those are good picks. So for a game series, I don't need a new game for right now. So your answer was Pikmin for right now, Switch 2 early. I would say that is tough. I want Splatoon. I want my Animal Crossing. That's a tough one. I would probably say something Mario Sports, just because they're great at launch. They're fun. You're playing online. You're having a fun time. But I don't really ever go back to any of them. I can live with the ones that we have right now, and I will be A-okay. Do I want them? Of course. I would play. I would buy them. I'd play them, but I'm fine without them. And then for a series that I don't want a new game for, controversial. No matter what you say, I'll probably go with. See, I want to say Xenoblade because I've not ever played Xenoblade ever, but I know people love that. And I've just now unsubscribed from the podcast. I would say Xenoblade. My heart says Xenoblade, but I know people won't like that. But that's my answer. There's just those series that you don't care for, that you just don't play. Because someone's Xenoblade out there is Pikmin. Someone will say, nah, Pikmin, get out of here. But Captainette asks, do you think we'll ever get new, weird, obscure Mario games again? For example, my questions here are too big, but I believe it says Mario. Here we go. Mario Goes Missing, Mario Sewing, Hotel Mario, DDR, Mario Mix, Mario Pinball. Any of these weird, obscure Mario games?
I don't think so. And here's why. I think Nintendo has kind of leaned into the other characters within the Mario universe for this sort of thing. I think for games like Mario Pinball, those... Well, first of all, for Hotel Mario and Mario Goes Missing, we're never getting those again. I think those were Philips. That was way early ages of Nintendo. That's not happening. For Mario Pinball, that was a small game for the GBA. And now that there is no small handheld to take there's Mario Picross on the 3DS. We're not getting that sort of thing again because there's no small it's all one. So they're gonna try and treat everything like a big home console release. Mm-hmm. I also think for the smaller ideas, like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a perfect example. that could have been a weird, obscure Mario game, and I guess it still somewhat technically is. It's not like that obscure, but could have been a weird, Mario game, but it's not. It's a Mario adjacent game. So kinda that counts. Like you could look at I don't know, maybe like Princess Peach Showtime that could have been themed around Mario, but it's not. It's themed around Princess Peach. So I think they're kind of shifting it to the other characters in the Mario universe.
Yeah, like those games, Mario goes missing, Mario teaches typing, something like those are done. Those ones are done. I agree with you. Like those little Mario, like the Mario Pinball, we're just kind of past that. I kind of just like am echoing everything that you've said. We're past that. If we're gonna get smaller games, like you said, Captain Toad, give me that. Give me a Waluigi game. That might be harder to do because isn't he what's the deal with him in like the Mario Sports? Like it's not actually Nintendo's or
I think Nintendo owns Waluigi, but he was made by Camelot, I think, for Mario Tennis.
Camelot. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, but like people think that that's going to be some obstacle. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least a new Wario game. Bring back Wario. Yeah,
Wario
I
Land.
think we just Wario Land. Shake it. That would be great.
Yeah.
Wario
Something
World.
like that.
Bring back any of these. The smaller games, though, I think are done. But I just want Nintendo games of the Mario world, like you said, that are not Mario. I think those smaller games are fantastic. But Smurps asks, would you like an Xbox Game Pass-like subscription service for the Switch where you pay a monthly price to play first-party Nintendo games?
I mean, yeah, more options I think are better, so I wouldn't be against it. I don't know if I'd participate though, because specifically with Nintendo games, a lot of these games are games I know I'm going to be playing for a long period of time. So like, the new Mario Kart comes out on Switch 2. Even if I get it for a subscription I'm already paying for, I'm going to buy it. Like I'm going to buy the new Mario Kart. That's something I'll play for, maybe a decade plus. Like that's been the case with 8/8 Deluxe. So I mean, I would like it, but I don't know if I'd necessarily utilize it. I'd probably just keep buying the games a la carte.
Yeah, I think if it was only for first party stuff, I wouldn't buy into this subscription deal because most of the games I buy day one, like Jamboree, Echoes of Wisdom, and that's just me. Some people can't do that. I would understand. But like for me, like I cover it, you cover it on, your channel, my channel. Like we cover the games. I think for us, it makes sense to just buy them full. But, maybe somebody would like the little subscription service. Now, if it had third-party games, that would be kind of cool. Like if it had the Switch 2, Madden, or so, like, just a bunch of third-party stuff. That would be great. Because then it's pretty much Xbox Game Pass, but just for Switch. It's like, same model, but Switch third-party stuff, which would be great. That would be cool. Isaac asks, what's your favorite mode in Mario Kart?
Oh, is this like versus mode or like battle mode?
Yeah, versus, time trials, battle mode.
Okay. Wow. Favorite, I think, has to go to versus, just because that's what I play by far the most. I have fallen into the time trial rabbit hole though recently. Back when I lived a couple years ago, I lived with a bunch of my friends who we would play Mario Kart all the time, and we would always play versus. But then we set up this system where once a week we'd randomly choose one track, and by the end of that week, whoever had the best time trial ghost saved on my Switch, which I just left out in like the common room, would win. I forget, but they would win some. And so time trial is like a sneaky second place, but I can't pick anything other than versus because that's like 95% of my Mario Kart playing time.
Yep. Those two are fun. Time trial's cool. I think for me, though, I like those picks. I got to go battle mode. I mean, it's tough to say that, though, because, like, I really do mostly just race, how it's intended. Like, the versus mode, I really do just do that, but, like, there's nothing better than you get a couple friends, you're going to play battle mode. I mean, it's fun in that way, and I hope that Mario Kart 9 has a better battle mode. Not that Mario Kart 8 is bad, but I want a better one. I think I'm not sure if it's me just liking battle mode more than racing. Probably not, which is, it's hard to even answer as battle mode. But like, there's something about going from the races, then switching to battle mode. It's like this rush that you get. It's a fun time. Battle mode probably excites me the most. But if I tell my friends we're playing Mario Kart, we might race normally. But battle mode is fun. Very, very fun. I feel like it's not played enough. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
It's fun for sure. Fast Forward Animations asks, what's your 2 cents on the Nintendo Museum? Do you ever intend to go?
I would hope to go at some point in my life, but I'm definitely not planning like a trip currently based around the Nintendo Museum. I think it would be one of those things where like if I ended up in Japan, I'll take the bullet train to Kyoto and I'll go to the museum like that. Of course, if I had the opportunity, but I am not like, I'm in college, man. I can't drop like a couple grand to go, just go. Even if I did it for coverage for YouTube, I'm not in the position to just like kind of drop everything and go. But I would like to at some point. It looks really fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm the same. I don't have my like airport apps open, booking flights to Japan right now. I'm not doing that, but I would like to go whenever the opportunity presents itself. But I'm not actively like looking for tickets to Japan, plane tickets, but I would like to go. Have you seen the like oversized controller plush?
Yeah, that thing looks sick.
Here's the thing. You can now buy those on eBay. The Wii Remote, which I want, is $300 with shipping.
That's a Switch 2 right there.
But here's the thing. That's cheaper than going to Japan and coming back and going to the museum.
Yeah, no, that's true. You'd probably have to pay for like the like whatever it is, like carry on. That would be its own luggage thing.
Yes.
The plush.
So it might not be a bad move.
No,
I don't know.
No. It's not. Hey, I cannot say anything about financial moves. 5 feet to my right is a $100 Nintendo alarm clock. So I have no ability to speak on anyone's financial decisions.
I saw your picture somewhere because
community post. I think
I do. Yeah. Where you were like spot the difference or whatever, and you had the Alarmo and the $100 bill on fire or whatever, or like almost on fire.
Bro, that was fun. I literally got it. I opened it up and I was like, why did I do this? And then I was just chilling with one of my friends or my roommate, and he was like, yo, I got an idea. I was like, all right, let's, we'll make a community post out of that. Thought it was fun.
How are you liking it though? Because I have mine too. It's kind of cool. How are you liking yours?
I have slept with it for one night now. I actually like it more than I thought I would. There are some parts that I really don't like. I cannot connect it to my Wi-Fi because it needs like a 2.4 gigahertz connection, and ours is like 5 gigahertz or something. It's some weird thing. I don't know, but I can't connect it to the Wi-Fi, so I'm missing out on like being able to download new stuff whenever that comes out. And the sensing is a little odd. My bed is like pretty low to the ground, so I have it stacked up on 3 books and my 3DS carrying case right now.
I'm the exact same. Mine is on 3 books too.
Yeah, it's like, all right, like if it has to be sensing me at the right angle, then sure. But I don't know. I woke up this morning to a the Stone Talus theme from Breath of the Wild, so I'm like, all right, sure, like that'll get me up.
That's like the worst one though.
I had it on random. That's the one I did. I did like though. If you have a Breath of the Wild alarm set, do you use like the sleep sounds or no?
I think it's neat, but I've never actually like been in bed at the time that you have to set. So I never get to hear them.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much the exact same way. But I like manually set it to turn them on because like what is this? What is sleep sounds? And it was like the random piano like melodies of Breath of the Wild and like a wolf howling every once in a while and like wind. And I was like, this is pretty, I could see this being used. Yeah. Mm.
So I've mostly been using the Pikmin 4 sounds.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't roll the dice on random. I use the first one. I forget what it's called. The very first one. Okay. I use that every morning. I like it. It's kind of cool. Not worth $100. I do like how I mean, as they advertised it, it's no like surprise. I just like the whole part of if you get back in bed, if you sleep in, it'll just keep, making noise. And if you stay there for too long, it'll get mad at you. That's cool. It like makes me want to get up and just go right to starting my day, which like there's cheaper solutions. There's apps that'll do that. Like it'll ring your alarm and then go take a picture of this thing. It like there's cheaper ways to get that effect, but it's cool in that way. I think it's cool for like, especially like for kids, it would be a pretty cool thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm still using mine. It's my main alarm. It's more charming than like the iPhone sounds.
Yeah, yeah. No, I will say, at least now that I've bought it, I don't see myself ever using anything else for the foreseeable future, barring a couple nights I'll probably forget.
Alarmo's cool. Sea Dog the Goat asks, who is yours and the guest's main in Mario Kart?
I kind of flip flop around. Most of the time, I just rip Donkey Kong. But if me and my friends are getting really sweaty, I'll switch over to Yoshi because I think he's the like meta character currently.
Solid. I go with one and one only. I used to main the Mii, and then I learned about the weight classes and everything, and I readjusted, and now I use the Villager. I'm not sure what weight class, the male Villager, but I use the male Villager, I think the City Tripper bike, and some set of wheels. And I heard that was really good, so I used that. But
there you go.
Villager. I'm a big Animal Crossing guy, so that's why I use Villager out of any of them. I honestly hope, do you feel this way, that I hope that the next Mario Kart turns into like Nintendo Kart?
Yeah, dude, that's a controversial opinion apparently. Because
really?
I've seen a lot of people. We did a video about that, and a lot of people were like it like blew up on Twitter. Someone was like, "This is the worst idea ever," and like quote retweets to 1 million. I'm like,
yeah, dude. By the way,
I just think it's like cool, dude. Yeah.
Sorry, one thing. People who like take like the thumbnail. People like.
Oh, bro, it's ridiculous.
We'll just take like the one thumbnail, and then like everyone in the replies just rip you to shreds. That's like the worst thing. I understand why you said that. You like tapped out of Twitter. Like I'm the same way. It's not on my phone. It is by far recently the worst place to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can get into why, but that's probably not for this podcast. But just some recent yeah, I think that like it's actually actively getting worse every day, and there just came a point where I was like, this is not what I enjoy spending my time with.
Yeah, it just felt like I was almost like brain rot, like in a way. Like it's just like things I should not be seeing, like even like tragic things. Can I put it that way? Like I don't need to see this on a Monday at 2:42 p.m.
Yeah.
And now it's bad. I deleted it.
Now they're apparently like changing the way blocking works, where if you block someone, they can still show up in like your For You page or whatever it was. I think something along those lines.
That's weird.
I wonder why they're doing that. I don't know. Okay,
it's weird. But yeah, sorry. Just wanted to jump in there. Like the whole they grab someone's thumbnail and just say like what is bro on about, and like all like the quote tweets. It's bad. But sorry. Go ahead. The idea of Nintendo Kart,
I like it. I don't think they'll ever switch the name to Nintendo Kart. I think Mario Kart's just too iconic. But I would be perfectly fine with some slight like more representation than we have in 8th Deluxe. We already have a decent amount of other representation from other Nintendo franchises in 8th Deluxe. I'd be down to see more. I just think the one thing that I hold back on that is I think a lot of Mario Kart's most iconic tracks aren't actually from like Mario locations, like Coconut Mall. That didn't exist anywhere before they made it for Mario Kart. Same thing with like Wario's Gold Mine, like stuff like that. So if they lean into the Nintendo Kart aspect and there's like a Pokemon Cup or a Legend of Zelda Cup, whatever, I hope they're still like, they still kind of have the same creative spark when designing those tracks, rather than just being like, oh yeah, this location is in this game, let's just make it a racetrack.
Yeah. Hopefully there's still newness and everything. I think Nintendo Kart, I mean, because like, where do you go if it's not Nintendo Kart? Add more Mario villains, add Captain Toad along with normal Toad. Like, where do you go? Like,
yeah,
not a whole lot you can do.
No.
bring Samus in, bring Zelda in. I mean,
bring
Link's
Captain
in,
Falcon in. They already have the
Yeah.
Blue Falcon in 8 Deluxe, and you can race on Mute City and Big Blue. So why he's not a playable racer is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, and they are. I mean, you can already call it Nintendo. They have Animal Crossing, Link's in there. I mean, it's a whole
Splatoon.
lot of Splatoon. Oh yeah, right, Splatoon.
Yeah.
A whole lot of stuff. But to end things off, Fort Worth, Texas asks, what do you think should be additions/new features to a Nintendo Switch Lite OLED if they hypothetically made one? I don't know if you can add too many things to that apart from the OLED in a Switch Lite. I don't know what else you'd do.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I've got an answer.
Okay, let's hear it.
You add a kickstand.
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe for playing like tabletop, this would be so interesting if they did this. I could see it kind of taking the new 2DS XL approach, because that came out after the Switch, but it was kind of just like a new version of the 3DS, but like super sleek, super refined. I could see them kind of doing that maybe in like 2026 after Switch 2 comes out, and just have it be like the cheap way. If you were trying to get a Switch and you do not care about playing on the TV or whatever, like this would be the way to do it. I think kickstand is definitely a feature they could add. And besides,
it's
just
useless now though that I'm thinking about it. Like, when are you gonna use that? The Joy-Cons are on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think would be to like link. You'd buy extra Joy-Con, then link the Joy-Con, and then you could play like Super Mario Party, because like that game requires Joy-Con use. I know the Switch OLED has like better surround sound and stuff on top of like obviously the OLED screen, so maybe adding in stuff like that. But I'm trying to think what else they could even like possibly add. They're not going to do like a whole new control method, because that wouldn't like work with the old Switch games. So I don't know what else they could do.
With the 2DS XL, I know it was a lot like slimmer, but I'm not sure how much more slim you can make the Switch.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's because it's pretty slim as it is. You can't really do much of that, if any. OLED screen, it would have. Yeah, better sound is good, like you said.
Joy-Con that don't drift. Like, like analog sticks that don't drift. That's the only, like, I don't know.
Could go there too. I think even if they wanted to do it, they could jazz it up like with a few special edition consoles. Like if they make a Metroid Prime, that probably wouldn't do too well. Like a Metroid Switch Lite OLED. That is the weirdest combo. A Metroid Switch Lite OLED. I don't think anyone's buying that. Well, whatever game comes out in 2 years from now on Switch, or 1 year from now on Switch, you can jazz it up with a special edition that would make the whole thing sell. But honestly, would you even like to see a Switch Lite OLED? I don't know.
No, I mean, I wouldn't get it.
I
have a Switch and a Switch Lite, and I think I've used my Switch Lite for approximately like 30, 40 hours of game playing, which is like not a lot. So I just don't really see a reason to get that. I'm holding out for Switch 2. That's my next big gaming purchase.
I'm hoping for that. Final question here. When do we think, if we could pick a month, or if you could pick a month, when do you think the Switch 2 releases? Tough.
I'm still holding out hope. I think a little like April, May action maybe. Although that might, and I guess now we're already end of October. I'm gonna say June. I'm gonna lock in June. I think they want it out for a decent chunk of time before the holiday. I think they'll want to like have a bunch of games that come out before the holiday. So when they have that first holiday, they have like maybe the big Mario Kart or whatever, and then a bunch of other games they could put in the commercials. So I think June makes sense. Maybe late May, somewhere around there though.
June I think is solid. The latest I could see it come out, I was going to say September, but honestly, like at August or something. Yeah. I think September to announce it, but before the end of the fiscal year, so March, and have it release in September. That would be criminal. That's what? I mean, 6 months, it's not terrible, but like actually, you know what? That's kind of actually on track. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, it actually is. It sounded a lot better in my head than what I thought of it to be. September?
Mate, dude, I don't even want to think about that though.
Oh,
what,
God.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Cause then, do you think we get base Switch games like up until then? Up until September? Because right now we have Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and that's it.
Yeah.
So.
And how many more directs are you going to put out where you say Switch 2 will not be mentioned in this presentation? Like, how many more can you do of that? I think we're going to start hearing about it soon. I think, because also, how many more remasters can you do? You did so many this year. Like, how many more can you do?
They're running out of games to remaster. That's the craziest part. So,
which leads me to think it might be June,
Yeah, I honestly, June. I'm gonna stick with June.
Okay, June it is. Regardless, though, whatever happens, it'll most likely be out within 1 year from now. So that's good to know. With that said, folks, that is it for the Mario Matter episode number 112. Thomas, thank you so much for your time, my friend. The floor is yours. Where can the people find you online? Of course, Switch Stop, but any other upcoming projects to promote or any social media spots or anything fun going on?
Thank you. Switch Stop is what takes up most of my time. That's the Nintendo channel I do with some other guys. And the biggest thing on that is our biggest video we've ever done is coming out. We're almost done with it. I don't want to give like an exact date, but it's gonna be like a 4-hour epic. So just stay tuned to that if you're interested in long Nintendo related content. So
dang, can we get not a hint?
Yeah,
but is it a ranking? Is it a video essay?
Yeah. It's a ranking. It's a ranking that I don't think a single person will agree with our ranking, but it is our ranking of some of the greatest Nintendo games of all time.
Okay, dude, this is getting a few million views. I'm tuning in. I'm getting my little Mario Party Jamboree, that like little tin bucket or whatever. I'm putting my popcorn in there. I'm gonna watch this. But to those who listen, thank you so much for listening. We will see you. I will see you next week. Sorry, Thomas will be back. Will be on in the future. I will see you next week. And what else? Subscribe, 5 stars. I'll see you next time for more. Adios.